We are live. Are we? Yeah. So good evening, everybody, and welcome back to our fourth day for the SQL. So my SQL essentials, and just as a quick check, like, can you hear me? And you can see me and my screen as well. So just do let me know that. And mm, just give me 1 second. Okay. So I think. We have good evening. Good evening. So in the today's session, we are going to update the table, delete. We are going to learn about foreign key, primary key, and we will be creating a new database for this session. So let me just open the SQL workbench here, and we will be creating a new one. Greetings, everybody. Just tell me, like, can you hear me? So new laptop or new home screen? Obviously, new home screen. Yeah, thank you. Like, I'm a kind of fan of these neon colors, so I use them a lot. Okay, so let's just open our workbench. So far, we have created the tables, database. We have also inserted the data to our database tables, and then we have used select with the where clause. We used and or, and we also knew about this. Came to know about this star, multiple column names, alias column names, like, and so many things. So in the today's session, we are going to update and delete, and we will be learning about the foreign key, primary key, and the join as well. And in the tomorrow session, we are going to cover like rest of the things here. So let me just delete all this. So yeah, and all I want here is to use this Insta table once again. So I want to use this Insta table. So for that, I'm just going to use the use Insta here. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to tell you that what is our today's topic. Okay, use Insta. So today we are going to use Insta, and let me just delete. So we have all the things that we have done on the day one already here. So I want to delete the table users. I don't want to have any tables here. So I'm going to drop the table users, and we are going to create the user table from the scratch. So yeah, so now we don't have any tables at all. We have our Insta table, and the thing is, like, we are going to create a new table, and I'm going to tell you about a tool where you can basically create dummy tables, or you can basically figure out what you're going to do, plan and all. So we will be doing that as well. But before that, let me just tell you how you can mark your attendance, because attendance is very important if you want to get your certificate. So just go inside the description, and here you will actually get these four links. All these four links will take you to a same page, and that is our one link. Just go over here, and you will be getting day 4. So this day 4, just click on this mark attendance. Just select how much you like this session on a scale of 0 to 10. As I'm kind of narcissist, so I'm going to go with 10 here. And about our 6 months of full stack program. So if you are into it, just yes or no, and you should be, because we are giving 7,000 rupees off right now. And if you have any suggestions for us, just please give any suggestion and just submit that in attendance here, and your scale will increase after one refresh. I think it should be 70%. Yeah, so it's now 70%, and now I'm properly eligible to get my certificate on the day 5. So after this session, you will actually get your certificate here. Yeah. When will C++ bootcamp will start? I think from next week. But this time I won't. I'm not going to take that one. You will have some another trainer who is going to take that for you. So this time I want to create the users table here, and I want to do one thing. So let's just create a users table like this. So I have already created these things, and I need to remove this. Yeah, and just give me 1 second. Okay. So I am going to create a new table here, users. Create table user. Let me just make it small, and I'm just going to write as here users. I do like to do this users instead of user. Let's create users. So create table users, and it is going to have some fields. So let me just write all these fields one by one. The first one is going to be user ID. Yeah. Next thing is going to be, I think, username, and the I think that's it for now. User ID is, first of all, it should not be null. I want to have user ID all the time, first thing. And yeah, it's type. So it is going to be of type integer. Username is going to be of type varchar. And let's just give it a length of 255. Username should also be not null. And it is going to be unique as well. So unique. So it's very important for username. So let's just leave the unique because in my sample database I have to use it as unique. And the next thing I want here, auto increment. So let's just see what is this auto increment here is. Auto incre. What is the spelling here? Auto incre. Oops, I'm not that great with the spelling, so I always keep this. Yeah. So notice one thing, like what is this auto increment thing is. So if you give something a property of auto increment, and if that thing is a type of int. So suppose if I create a new, if I create add a row, if I add a row, and for the user ID, I have given the value 5. Okay, so suppose I have created a new row here with the user ID 5 and with the username Sanjay. And next time, again, I created a new row, but this time I have not provided the user ID. I have just given the username Mukesh. So what this auto increment is going to do, automatically it will increase the value 5 from 6. So it will automatically do this for us behind the scene. So you don't have to start it. So you don't have to mention it anytime. You can just ignore it, and behind the scene, this will do this for you. Like it will increase the value of user ID by 1 every time you will create a new record. So every time you're going to create a new row, it will add 1 to the previous ID, and it is going to use that new ID as the user ID for the new row here. That's it. I think you got the point here. So that's why we have this user ID here. Let's also add the password. Password is again going to be of varchar and 255, and it is going to be of type not null here. Okay, I think that's it. And but now I also want to add two things here, and that is called as the primary key and the foreign key. So what is a primary key? So primary key is a column. So primary key is a column that can uniquely identify the data for you. So suppose if you have a data of, suppose let's take the data of all the Indians, all the people in our country. And now just tell me one thing that can easily identify a person that is going to be unique for everybody. So we have Aadhaar card, right? So that Aadhaar card is a primary key for us, because no two Aadhaar card can have same number. And if you know my Aadhaar card number, you can identify me, you can look for me, uh, like if you have the access, so you can as easily find me. So that is what a primary key is, a key or a column that can identify a data uniquely. And it is going to be unique. First of all, it's going to be unique, and it can basically, well, that's it, like it should be unique. That's it. So in our case, we are going to use user ID as the primary key. Yeah. Now I'm pretty sure that you are actually getting confused with the unique constraint. So remember, we also provide this unique constraint UIQUE. Yeah. So unique and primary key are almost the same. Like unique and primary key are almost same, but there is an additional benefit with the primary key. So I could have given it unique key, like it would have worked. But what about the primary key then? So how we create primary key? Let me just tell you as well. Just type here primary, primary, and inside this mention a column that you want to make as a primary key. Yeah. But if you create a field that is primary key, so primary key. So the benefit of using the proper primary key here is that this thing will be indexed as well. What is this index now? So if you create a column as a primary key, so first of all it is going to be unique automatically, so I don't have to provide this here. I don't want to, no, I don't need to provide this here. But and also, so it will be unique automatically, and second thing, it will be indexed. So all the columns that are indexed. So indexing is a process. It's like the index of an encyclopedia. So if you want to find a proper topic or a proper page, like if you have seen encyclopedia, so it's a very thick book with lots of topics and with lots of information, but it's too thick. So if you want to find a topic, it's going to be very difficult. So we have an index on the first page, or sometimes at the last page, and using that index you can find any topic. So this column is going to be get indexed. So MySQL uses some algorithm to index this column. And now if you're going to do any query, anytime you will use where clause with this user ID field, you are going to get the data quickly. So it will be much faster to get our data by using the user ID field now. So that is the second thing. So that's all about the primary key, and that's it. And yeah, you can only create single primary key. You cannot have more than one primary key. Like I can't do this, like primary key user ID and primary key username. So that is not possible. You just can create a single primary key so far. Yeah, and that's it. And let me just create the table. So I'm just going to select this whole thing. Yeah, by the way, you can have multiple unique fields. So it's possible to have multiple unique columns, but primary can be only a single column here. And let me just call this thing. And let's see by refresh here. Yep, so we have our table here, users. Just open this, and you can see that in the columns I have three columns here: user ID, username, and password. And you can see here I have this indexes. If I'm going to click on this indexes, you can see I have this primary. See, and I have this primary, and I can open this. I think that's it, primary. Yeah, so primary key, and here the definition of this primary key, that we are using column user ID as our primary key, and it is indexed, and its type of B tree and all. So whatever this is, like algorithms and all, so we are not going to touch that, and that's it. Okay, and let me just remove this. But now, unfortunately, I forgot to add two columns here. Like I also wanted to add age. I also wanted to add the gender and email. So how we can do that? Like we have already created our table. So I need to update this table. For that, we need to use alter command. So alter is actually used if you want to update a column here. So what are the columns I have added here? Email, age, and the gender. So just type here alter. It's all the commands are very simple. Alter table, and what are the email? Type in here. Alter table users, and here you just need to type add, and just type the column, like it's going to be column, column. And what are the column you want to add? So I wanted to add age, and it's going to be a type int. Then I also wanted to add a email column here, column, that is going to be email, and it's going to be of varchar of 255. And I also wanted to add a column here, lu and gender, and its type is, yeah, enum. So what is this enum? So enum is a very special type here. Let me just write it first, then I will tell you. And that's it. Okay, so you already so this is how we can alter a table. So just type alter table, the table name that you want to update or alter. So it won't affect the data. If you had any data inside this table, right now we don't have any, like we are not having any data, so obviously it's not going to do anything here. But alter table is going to add these three columns. So if you want to, you can remove some column as well. We will also see that. And you can also update a column if you want to, but we rarely update a column, and we very rarely delete a column. Because once you suppose you want to update a column that was previously integer, and now you want to make it a varchar, so it's very difficult to do that. So most of the time you will just add a column. Add column, the column that you want to add, and the type of it. So like this. And now what is this enum here? So enum is again a type of constraint, and it's not constraint, it's a type of data type. It's not a constant, and it's kind of constant if you want to call it. Yeah. And by this you mean this gender field can only have m or a f value. It cannot have anything more than that. Let me just decrease the size of pen here. Yeah. So that's it. So this is all about the enum field, n or f. You can, if I try to have any other value than this, it's going to throw me an error. Now, if you want to add some constants, you can add that as well. Like it should be not null, and it should also not be not null here, and email should be unique. UNIQ. इतना टाइम हो गया लिखते लिखते याद नहीं होती. And let this have a default value for this one. If default, and let us go with default 18 for age, and that's it. And if you want to add anything else, like do I have added? No, I have added default mail here, and we are not going to add that as here. Call this. And now if I open this user, you can see that in the columns, I have to refresh here, the new columns are added here. Yeah. And let me now comment all this, and let's just keep it here. Now let me just add some dummy data to this column here. For that we are going to use insert into users values, and let me just write the column here as well. So I have all the dummy data here already, so I'm just going to copy paste this. So these are the fields I want to add, and let me copy this whole data, and let's just paste it here. Okay, so I have, I think, 1 to 20 data fields with user, password, age, email, and I think we have everything. And let me just execute this. And I think it's done. And now let me just remove this whole thing because it's taking a lot of space here. Well, let's just keep it for no reason. Yeah. Now after the next line, let me just select just to check if we get our data from users, and just call this. Okay, so we are getting our data for 20, I think it's 17. Yeah, 17 users here, but I have counted it. Okay, no worries. So we have 17 users, the password, age, email, and gender and all, and that's it. Now I also want to create another table, that is post. So let's just create that post as well. Create table, and I'm just going to copy this time, like I don't want to write the same thing again and again. So where I have created this post table, yeah. So I'm going to copy this post table, and let me just remove this field only because I will explain this one. Okay, so this is post table. So in Insta, you can have user and you can also have post. So create table post here. Okay, here post ID integer should not be null, auto increment. Yeah, post ID, it's going to be a unique thing, and I'm going to make this post ID as a primary key. Then user ID here. Notice one thing, I also have user ID here. So what is the purpose of having user ID in the post, first of all? And then I have title and the content. Content is of type text. So by text, I mean you can have as much text you want. So there is no limit. So just use text here. It cannot be null, and same with the title and the primary key. But I'm little bit concerned with this. Why do we have user ID field in the post here? Just try to guess this, like why we have user ID field in the post. Can you use phone number as a primary key? Yeah, you can use the phone number as a primary key. Semicolon after gender statement. Yeah, it actually means this is starting from here and it is ending here. So this whole thing is a alter command. Alter table, add column. So you can have as many things you want here. If you want to update, you can do that as well. Can you see the send the GitHub? Yeah, I'll send that. Screen not clear. Just increase the video quality. I hope it will be clear. I'm asking you, like, can you just take a guess, like why we have this user ID field in the post? Just take a wild guess. Until then, let me just open the draw SQL. Okay, let me just explain why do we have this. So just imagine you are creating a post on Instagram. So you have taken your photo and then you're uploading on it on the Instagram. So like everybody is doing this, like everybody is posting their post on the Instagram. But now if I'll ask you to pick up a post, so choose any post, and now how you can find that who is the person who created that post. So there is only one way to do that, is to keep the details of the user who have created that post with that post only. So what I mean by this, so you will have post details like photo, comments, etc., whatever. But if I want to find who is the one person who created this post, for that I also need to store the detail of the user. What is the name of the user who created this post? What was the DP of that user? And these are details here. So instead of storing the complete details, every detail about the user, I'm just going to store the user ID of the user who actually created this post. So that's why I'm having this user ID field here. Now the fun part. I'm going to write this thing here, foreign key. So what is this foreign key? By this foreign key, I'm actually specifying that the foreign key user ID. So in this particular table that you have created right now, like this table here, inside this we have a foreign key user ID, and this foreign key is actually is a reference to the users table user ID. So we have so what I we have a foreign key in our table, and the name of that key is user ID. If you want, you could have given this any other name as well, like user ID of the post creator, like this. But it actually wouldn't have make sense. So we have a column user ID of the post creator here, which is actually going to be a foreign key. It's going to point to column, the column is in different table. And what is the table? And the table is users table. So it is going to point to the users table's user ID. So in the users table, you have a field user ID, and it's going to be equal to that. And that's it. I'm just going to make it user ID so that it is easier for us to write and to see. That's it. And I'm just going to execute this as well. So now we have created the users. And now let me just also fill the post details here. So insert into, and let's create so many posts, and let me just paste it. So I'm inserting so many posts, but notice for the user ID, I'm using this ID 1, 2, 3, 4. So this post title 1 is actually created by the person who has the ID 1. Yep. And this particular post is created by the user with the ID 7. And same goes with this one. So this post is actually created by the user with the ID 3. So as you can see, the very first column I'm filling here is actually the user ID. So these all are the user ID of the user who have actually created these posts. And that's it. Let me just call this one with this electricity icon. And now we can move to the next part. And let's see, we have all our data here. Select asterisk from posts. I think it's post. Let's just call this posts. Oh, I forgot to call this query. Now we can call this one. Why we are not getting the details? Let me just see and see for the error. Okay. Limit is 1000. It's saying that insert into post foreign key insta post constraint cannot add or update. Yeah, so we cannot add. We are not adding here. So let me just make it a little smaller by doing this. Let's just remove this. And for now, I'm just going to drop the table, and I'm just going to create this table once again. User ID, everything is fine. Let me just drop the table once the post, and let's just recreate it. Drop table, post. Let's call this one So not drop database, drop table. So this. Let's see, do we have any post here? No, we don't. Let me create this post table once again. And certain two, these are the users. Post. Let's call this refresh. Yeah, we have post table now. And let me just copy this whole thing. I'll just paste it here. So post ID, user ID. I want to add the user ID. Title, content. I think everything is fine here. It should work. Okay, it says insert into post. I'm getting an error. Let me just table insta.post doesn't exist. Yeah, it doesn't exist because it's not posts. It's actually post. Spelling mistake. Let's just call this. Now we are getting insert into post user ID. The values cannot add or update a child row. A foreign key constant false instance. So I can figure out the error here. Let me just check. Like we have everything properly set up. User ID, title, contained. Mm-mm-mm. Obviously, it's going to be not null. The current field is users dot user ID. Users dot user ID. I think we have. Oh, sorry. So the problem is about these 18, 19, 20. So we don't have any user with these IDs. We don't have any user with 17, 18, I think 18, 19, and 20. We have users still 17 only. So that was the problem here. So let me just tell you what is the problem. If I select star from users, if I call this, see, we just have the users till 17 here. See, 0 to 17. So these are the IDs available to us. But in our, when I was using my dummy data, in the dummy data, I am also creating post with the user ID 18, 19, and 20. But we don't have any user with these IDs. So it's actually saying that you are using this user ID, which is actually a foreign key for the users table, but we don't have any user. So that is the benefit of using foreign key. It will also check for it. And now let me just see if we have any more 18, 19, 20. Yeah, we have these. And yeah, now it's going to work. Yeah, so now it worked. And let me just call this select here asterisk from posts and just call this one. And we are getting post, and now we are getting post here. So we have so many 74 posts at I think no post ID from 41 to 74 here, and that's it. So with the all the user IDs, all it is also showing the users who have actually created these posts. That's it. Now before moving to the next part, like we are now we will be using the foreign keys and we are going to join these data. So suppose if you want to look for the post, and now we have these user IDs, but you also want to get the complete detail of the user here. Instead of this ID, we can replace this user ID with the complete detail of the user who have actually created this post. But before that, let me just complete the two small topics, and that was to update and all now. So let's just see what is going we are going to cover first. Yeah, we will be going to cover the first update here. So update table. Sorry. Type the table name. Suppose we want to update the posts here, and I want to update all the posts where user ID is 1. So first let me just look for all the users where user ID is 1, where user ID is equals to 1. Let's see how many posts do we have. We have 3 posts with the user ID 1 here, and I would just want to change the content of these 3 posts. Okay, I just want to change the content of all the posts that was actually created by this. So just type here update table, the table that you want to update, and set. Yeah, set update. Sorry, table the table was no table. Yeah. So most of the time I just forgot the syntax. It's not that important to remember the syntax. You can just find the syntax anywhere. Let me close this one. Yeah. Set, and just set the column that you want to do. Let's say content here. Content, content to Uh, I am a user with ID 1 and I am happy. Okay, so that's it, I think. Let's see if we can enter the emoji as well with the emoji. Now, notice one thing. If I execute this command, so I just want to tell you this because it's going to be very important later. Just enter this. If I'm going to call this query, it is actually going to update everything in our post table here. It's going to update everything, and let's just see if it's going to work or not. So if I do this update, the table name set content, the spelling of the content is very much wrong. So let me just fix it. CONTNT, yeah, content here. It is actually going to update everything, every column of the user. So let's see, and if I am I'm going to call this, and now I have executed this, and now let me just get the post. Let me just get the post, all the post here. And if I do this, see all the posts are actually updated. I am the user with ID 1 and I'm happy and I'm happy. I'm actually getting this for every post here. And the reason is because we haven't provided any where clause. So it will actually do this for everything. So now I have to truncate. Remember truncate? I don't want to delete the table. I just want to remove this data because our data is now corrupted. So it's no more usable. Like we have updated all the content of all the posts and that was not we wanted, but now we have to fix it. So let me just call this truncate here. Let us go over here, truncate, and I just want to truncate the post. Remember what is truncate? Truncate is going to delete all the data inside the table post. It won't delete the table. It will just delete all the data inside the post table. So now we have executed this. Now we don't have any data inside the post. Now it is completely empty. And now I have to call this query once again to fill the data. And now I have called this query to fill the data. And I think, yeah, we got our data back. So you have to be very careful while executing some of the queries. So updating is one of them. And okay, so I'm just going to update that. This time I will provide here condition where the user ID is equals to 1. So wherever the user ID equals to 1, just update the content to this. You can also provide all these and or and all. So and let's say or where the user ID is 5, 3. Okay. So all the users with the user ID 1 and 3 will be the content is going to update it with this one. And let me just call this. And if you are wondering what is this, actually it's an emoji. You can press window and dot to get this thing, and you can use the emojis here if you want to. Yeah, I'm no one like I haven't seen the chat, but I'm pretty sure that somebody is asking this question. How I got this? Okay, now let's get all the data here. And as you can see, wherever the ID is 1 or 3, the content is now updated. So this is all about the update here, right? So this is all about the update. And now I hope, like it's very simple. You can use, like you can also use like. So it will just check for it is used to locate the exact row that you want to update. And you can set multiple things like you want to set multiple. Yeah, you can do that as well. Mm, why user ID is changing? Where user ID is changing? Like we have not. So open the gate. Which gate you want me to open? We don't have data set for the practice. I can tell you a trick. I'll just tell you a trick on the day 5 and how I get this dummy data. I'll just tell you, like, just take a guess. Like, actually, I haven't written this data. So, this dummy content and all. I just got this from somewhere. Just try to get this. Semicolon, I think. Good evening. Yeah. So, what I usually do, so there are two things I do here. So, you can use the VS Code. So, in VS Code, I have AI tool here. I can just mark a comment here. Let's say uh, create a dummy data for user table here, and I think it will take take a little bit amount of time, and if I press enter, it will just create a dummy data for me. It will take little time to initiate, and so this is it. Like this is I'll share the dummy code data with you in tomorrow's session. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, and I just need to press this, and it will synthesize. See, it actually have written a query to create the table, and I can ask it for more dummy data, and it will do that. But I'll just give you which gate you want me to open. Okay. Okay, wait for a few minutes. I will do this. Yeah, post, not post. Yeah. Black box extension and a black box no. I'll just tell you like it's a trick. And I know you know about it. Yeah, let's just cover the delete as well. So let me just write the delete in a minute because it's actually going to be same. Just type delete, yeah, and choose the table from which you want to delete something, and that's it. Just choose the condition. If I'm going to call this, I think yeah, delete from, yeah, delete from the table name, and don't call this one. Yeah, also specify the condition like what you want to delete. Let's say where the user id is equals to 10. So delete all the post where user id is equals to 10 here. So before that, let me see like if we have any post with this. Select asterisk from posts where user underscore id is equals to 10. Let's see if we have any post. Yeah, we have two posts. So I'm just going to delete now. So I select this, call this. Now they are deleted. Select this just to see. Now, yeah, that's it. Delete from post, and just write a condition to locate your proper row that you want to delete. And that is it. But notice one thing. Suppose if I try to delete, let me just copy and paste this here. If I try to delete users now from the table users, where user ID is equals to 1, let's see if it will delete the user 1 or not. Just take a guess. If I'm going to delete from the user table where the user ID is equals to 1, can I do this or not? Just take a guess. Let me just execute it. And see, I'm getting an error. And it is cannot delete or update a parent row something something. So what is this error is actually saying to me? That hey, you're trying to delete a user, a column, a row from the table users. So you're trying to delete a user with the id 1, but you cannot do this. And the reason is because this user have some post. So this user actually have some post in the post table. So if you do this like let me close this, select. If I write this here, let me select it. Select asterisk from table post here user id is equals to 1, like this. And if I'm going to call this, like obviously we have three posts for, let's say for 6. With the user id 6, I have a single post here, right? So if I try to delete the user id with 6, it won't let me. That is the benefit of using foreign key. Foreign key will also check for this. Like if you try to delete a user that have a post, it won't allow me to do that. First I need to delete the post. First I need to delete the post where the user id is equals to 6. First, actually, I have to delete all the posts that I have the user ID 6 here. If I call this, now I have deleted all the posts with the user ID 6. I can also see, and now we don't have any post with the user ID. Now I can delete this. Now I can also delete the user 6 here. See, now the user 6 is deleted. Let's also see if the user 6 is deleted or not. Select asterisk from users. Let's see. Look, we don't have the user 6 here. Yeah, so foreign key, so that's why we provide the foreign key. So this foreign key is very, very important. So it will check for all the integrity between these two tables. It will check for all the integrity between these two tables with the users and the post. So if you try to delete anything, any user that have a post in your post table, it won't allow you to do that. First delete all the post, then only you can delete the user. Yep. And if you try to add a post with a user ID that does not exist in the users table, it won't let you do that as well. So it actually protects your integrity of your data. Now we can move to the next part, and let me just select everything from the post here, and let me just tell you about the join here. Okay. So here we have, I think, some number of posts. Yeah. So now what I want to do, I want to replace this user ID. I want to replace this user ID in the post with a proper user's detail. Like here, I want to get the detail of the user who created this post 6. So this is what I'm looking for. Okay. It's primary key. Yeah, no, it's a bit, what about primary key? No, it's actually the foreign key I was talking about, like here. Yeah, so I'm talking about this. So the foreign key here. So in our table post here, so in our table post, let me just minimize this. So in our table post, in our table post, we have this user ID column, and that is actually a foreign key user ID. So user ID is a foreign key, which is referencing to the user ID column of the users table. Now, these two things are actually linked with each other. They are connected. Yeah, so they are connected here. Now let me tell you how you can create these kind of connections. So just Google draw SQL. Just Google draw SQL, and just click on the very first link. Just click on this very first link. Just log in here. So this is actually online app, and I think I have forwarded my password here. So let me just sign up in a minute. Mm, it's already taken. New diagram. Yeah. So once you will sign it, you will see these kind of screen. Just go over here, just click on the new diagram. Just name diagram anything, let's say Instagram. Instagram here like this. Then choose whatever software you're using. I'm using MySQL for now. Just click on this create diagram. Now what you can do here, you can just click on this new table. So it will give you a new table. You can give this table a name. So let me just give this table a name here. Just click this and let's click on this users. Now you can also add some fields like user ID, and you can also choose some types like it's not null. Yeah, it's a primary key. It's going to be a primary key like this. And if you want to add many things, so let me add a new column, a user name here. Choose the data type. So it's just going to be of type varchar. Yeah, and that's it. Add a new column, email. It's going to be a type of varchar. And notice I'm adding new things here, like password is again going to be of type varchar. You can choose more conditions, like it can be unique if you want to, and you can add some more conditions like default value. If you want to have any default value, by default it will be blank string, something like this. And that's it. I think this is more than enough. Now you can click on this new table, so it will create a new table for you. Just put this here, and new table will have the name posts here, posts. It will have a post id. It is going to be of type integer, and it's going to be index, like primary key. Just click on this icon, and let's create user id as well. User id, yeah, and it's going to be of type int. Then let's add one more column with content, going to be of type text here, and one more column, let's say title. So it was, and it's going to be of type varchar 100, and it cannot be nullable and all. So now I have these two table. Now you can also connect these two tables. So this user id is actually going to be a foreign key for this id, and the relation is one to one, one to many, I think, one to many here. So see, so you can add more tables you want. If you want, now we are actually visualizing our database before even creating anything. So you can also create, let's say, likes or comments. So let me just add comments. Yeah, comment is going to have a ID, and text, whatever the text you have for the comment with the type text here, and a user ID, like the person who have created this text with the user ID. It will be of type int, and then it will also have post id, the post id, so that we can find like for which post the comment was created. Now we have the comment here. So this comment is actually connected with post, with the post id. So it can have a post id here like this, and it can also have a user. Obviously it will have a user id. So you can use these kind of tools to visualize your data before even creating this. Now by it will help you a lot in the long run, so that's why I have covered this part as well. So it will help you a lot in the long run. Yeah, and now I can close this. If you want to save it, you can just click on this save, and it will save the changes for you. Now let's come back to this one, and now our goal is to okay. Now my goal is actually to get the user id details as well. So how we will do that? Just type here select here, select asterisk from posts. Yeah, just click enter. And the thing I want to add here is a new thing. It's called join. Like let me just write here like join. I think let me just type join first. From the table users. I think, let me just look for the proper syntax first. Uh, yeah, so this one is the proper syntax here. From post, yeah, join, and users. I want to join the users and just write on. Let me just write this first. User dot users dot user id should be equals to post dot user underscore id. I hope it's the proper syntax here. Let's just call this. Yeah. So now let me recap everything like what I have done here. Select everything from the post. Okay, just create a post table here from the post. Yeah, and join this with the users table. Join this with the user table. Join users. Yeah, and this is the condition. On this condition, join these two tables. Join these two tables here on this condition. And the condition says where the user ID of the users table is equal to the user ID of the post table. Like we have user ID, let me choose a different color pen. So we also have the user ID in the post table. So these are till here we have the post data. Till here we have the post data. And after that we have the users data here. So in both of my table I was having the user ID, right? So that was the purpose of using this user ID. So in the both the table I have this user ID here. Now we are actually see for the post id 1, for the post id 1. So these are the details for the post id 1, and now these are the details for the user who actually created this post. So the user id 1, name John Doe, password, age, and the email. Let's see for this post number 18. The post number 18 was created by user 3, the detail of the post, and then I have the user of the detail of the complete user detail here. And you can choose the things as well. Like I just want to get the post ID. I don't want to get everything. I just want to get the post ID. I want to get the email, and I just want to get the title and content here. Title, content, and username. So let me also get username instead of yes, on post. And let's just call this. And now we are just getting these four columns here: post ID, user ID, title, content, and I think title, content, username is missing. User, what was the user name? Property name, username. Uh, Username spelling mistake. There was some spelling. Yeah. So post ID, your username, title, and the content. So post one was created by John. The title was this, and the content was happy. So this is actually an inner join, and we are going to cover these topics like joining and all in great depth. So today we just understood how we can update, delete, and how we can use the foreign key, how we can draw these table with the external tool like draw SQL. You can use this tool before creating a table. So it's very important to plan your database before even creating it. Yeah, and okay, so this is what we have covered so far, and in the tomorrow session we are going to learn about all the possible joins. So this is one of the join here, and it is called as inner join. Is actually inner join. We have inner join, outer join, left outer join, right outer join, union, self join, and so many kind of joins. So we are going to learn about all these joins. We will be also learning that how we can create an index for any of the column. So it's not like that only primary key can have index. Any field can actually have the index. So how we can do that, what are the trade-offs of index, and also we will be learning about cross joins and all. And one more thing, we will be learning about something called as aggregation. So these are the things that we will be covering tomorrow, and after that you can basically do SQL by yourself, and I will also tell you the trick how you can create the dummy data. So it will be very helpful for you. And before ending our session, let me just tell you about the course that we are offering right now. So you can actually click on this link here, refer 20, and you will get to this page. Like I have told you about this like for past 4 years, I'm not going to get into a lot of details. So we are giving 7,000 rupees off on our both the courses. So just grab the offer right now, because after some time it is actually going to increase back to the original price, and then you should be regret. I don't want you to regret. And you can also refer this to somebody who may need this course just to have a kickstart for their career. And all the courses are job ready. I'm just going to force a lot of emphasis on this term. So all the courses are job ready, so we guarantee that you are going to land a job. In fact, if you are a college student, you can very easily land a job after this session, after these 6 months. It can also extend to 8 months or 9 months. You don't have to pay extra anyways. You can just join our course and we will take care of your future. That's it for this session, and I will see you tomorrow. Okay, what is the difference between unique and primary? So actually, if you see it from, let me just explain this one for you just in Hindi. I think you're comfortable in Hindi. Yeah, Durga. So actually, ऊपर ऊपर से दोनों सेम है, unique and primary. The only difference is you can only have one primary key. You can have as many unique keys you want. तो एक टेबल में, in a single table you can have as many unique keys you want. Like you can have email as unique, you can have username as unique. If you want to, you can also create password as unique, but you can just have a single primary column. That's the first difference. And second difference is primary key are indexed. So MySQL will use an algorithm behind the scene, and it is going to index whatever the column you had set to primary key. Now, if you will use that column to perform the query, like if I do this, select asterisk from posts where post ID is greater than 5. So look, I'm using post ID to look for the data. And you will notice this query is going to be super fast. So it's going to be super fast. And the reason is post ID column. I'm using this column which is indexed. So this kind of query is going to be faster instead of if I have used where where let's say user ID is 5. So this is going to be little slower. You won't see the difference in from your from naked eyes, but if you'll have a lakhs of data in those kind of cases, it is going to make a very huge difference. So that is the difference. I think you got this right. Okay, so that's it, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye. Take care.